Hey YouTube, what's up? So I'm finally coming out with this video. Sorry for the delay. It's just the only problem, the only reason I've delayed making this video for so long, putting it off, not really putting it off, but not being able to actually make it was because my Melanurus Wrasse here, goes to bed usually at 7 every night, and I usually make videos at 9, if not later, so he's always gone to bed already. So finally I decided to make a video earlier in the day. It's the weekend, so I had that opportunity. Now obviously this is about my Melanurus Wrasse here, also known as a Hovens Wrasse, a tail spot Wrasse. I think those are the two main other names they go by. This is Dexter. He's a male Melanurus Wrasse. Now first I want to talk about diet. The diet for these guys, I've had two in my Melanurus Wrasse, and in my experience, feeding has never been an issue. They've always been eating on the first day. That I add them. They've always been very hardy to eat pellets, flakes, frozen foods, gel foods, nori, anything like that they'll eat in my experience, and with most people's experience. It's not like you hear a lot of people complaining about this fish because of its feeding requirements. They usually are very, they're not very picky when it comes to food. Alright, so diet should be no issue. However, he is an aggressive eater. That's a real issue I have with him. I add the nori or gel foods, especially those things that are larger that he can grab a hold of and take it away. He'll just kind of grab the nori, for example. He'll grab the nori and just try to scarf it down before any of the other fish can get it. And to me, I just don't like that. I have a lot of fish, such as my tang and my blenny, who require that nori to stay healthy. And I really don't like the fact that he's constantly just, ripping it off with a clip and scarfing it down before anyone else can get it. So he is an aggressive eater. I would that's just something to consider. He is an aggressive eater, but he does not have any issues with. He's not a very picky eater. Now, personality and overall, this guy has tons of color. I love his personality. He has a lot of personality. He's always out in front, really eye-catching fish, very bold. He definitely has a lot of personality. I do like that. However, a major issue I have with him, the main reason I'm considering getting rid of him is because of the fact that he kills off snails. Any small to medium-sized snail is doomed when it comes to this guy. NASA snails especially, NASA snails and Seer snails are gone. Here in where I live, NASA snails are just a naturally occurring snail. You can go out to the beach and catch a whole bunch and take them home, and they're the Nasserith vibex, so they're perfectly reef safe. The same ones you see at the fish store, for 50 cents a piece. I can go out there, spend 20 minutes out there, come home with like 30 snails, add them to the tank, and they're all gone within 2 days because of this wrasse. He just is that fast. And some people would argue, oh, keep him really well fed and he will not go after it. I feed my tank 2 to 3 times a day, which is, some would say more than enough. And, it's kind of like saying, oh, a dog won't chase squirrels if he's kept well fed. No, it's just an instinct. I can't blame him for it. I mean, he sees a snail crawling anywhere and he goes after it and tries to kill it. That's just his natural instinct. But however, I do have a major issue with that because I run a deep sand bed, and in order for it to be perfectly functional as a filtration system, I have to have those critters, constantly cleaning out the sand bed and keeping that detritus level down. And so I really don't appreciate him, killing them all off. That's not something I'm happy about. Now, compatibility, these guys, I've never really had him have any sort of issues with any non-wrasse. However, he did, unfortunately, he was the reason I lost my royal pencil wrasse, and that really sucked because I love that fish. One day out of nowhere, out of the blue, he just started nipping at my pencil wrasse, and my pencil wrasse started coming out less and less and ended up dying, unfortunately. Then he led to the death of my yellow banded possum wrasse, Gus. I was not happy about that either. Besides the fact that I liked the fish and it was a cute little fish, I don't, like having fish die in my tanks. It was an expensive fish. It was $50 to start out, $15 for Diver's Den as an extra fee, then $35 for shipping. So that was not an inexpensive fish by any means, and he killed them off. So I would say if you plan on keeping a tank that's less than 75 gallons and you want to keep a lot of wrasse, take this guy off your list. Do not add a Melanurus Wrasse to a tank that has, in my experience, I'm saying, do not add him to a tank that is less than 75 gallons if you want to keep multiple Wrasse. I just don't think that'll work. And that's definitely not just my opinion. I've heard a lot of people say the same sort of thing about this particular Wrasse. Now, if 75 gallons or over, I would recommend you adding a smaller, more peaceful Wrasse before you add the Melanurus. You know, such as Possum Wrasse, Fairy Wrasse, Flasher Wrasse, Leopard Wrasse, whatever, Pencil Wrasse. Just add them before you add the Melanurus Wrasse. Everyone will be better off that way. Tank size, minimum tank size, I think 55 gallon, maybe even 40 gallon long would be fine for it, as long as, you know, it's not overstocked and as long as you don't have a lot of other more peaceful Wrasse in the tank, if you're going to keep it in a 40 or 55 gallon tank. Now the male is, there is definitely a color difference when it comes to males and females. The males look a little bit better in my opinion, but the girls still look pretty nice as well. They have not been known to spawn in captivity, so don't plan on that. Now, something to really remember when you're planning on keeping any Wrasse, pretty much, is the fact that they do sleep in a sand bed at nighttime. They also hide there when they're scared or nervous or whatever. So you're going to want to make sure you have a deep enough sand bed for the size Melanurus Wrasse you plan on purchasing. You also want to make sure you don't have any crushed coral or shells or gravel of any kind, because that will damage the Melanurus Wrasse and injure him, and that's just not an appropriate tank setup for Melanurus Wrasse at all. So if you have crushed coral or gravel or anything, seashells, whatever you have as a substrate that's not soft sand, I would not recommend you getting the Melanurus Wrasse at all. Yeah, just definitely not. Kind of rambling now. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to talk about this guy. They are very affordable, pretty common as well. This guy was 35 bucks, and he's a good size. I got him from my local fish store, and so he's great with that. They've also been known to eat flatworms and parasitic creatures on corals. They have been known to eat those up in reef tanks, so they are good. If you don't have if you don't have a deep sand bed that you want to run as a major filtration system in the tank, then a Melanurus Wrasse to be fine. I mean, as long as you have those nyrate snails and turbo snails and they're eating up the algae, then he won't mess with those guys. He has a much harder time killing off turbo snails or larger size snails. He has a much harder time killing those off than the NASA or Sears snails. Now, a main thing I wanted to talk about with this guy is actually, I'm trying to catch him. I'm trying to actually get rid of him. I like to fish a lot, but I actually got in touch with my local public aquarium, and they are willing to let me donate him there, and I'd be able to acclimate him after hours. After the place is closed, I'll be able to acclimate him there and add him to the tank. The tank he'd be going in would be a 350-gallon tank, which is awesome. I mean, that's I've seen the tank. It's really big, a lot of nice-sized tangs, a lot of coral, so it looks really nice. He'd be appropriate fish for that sort of setup. So I'd be making a video of me acclimating him there. I'd be making a video of the tank he's going in. Now, I don't think I'm going to be getting him an actual trap. First, I'm going to try to net him. I'm considering adding some sort of peppermint shrimp or something like that, and having that kind of be bait. As cruel as that sounds, having it be bait, and when my Melanurus Wrasse goes over to it, I can sneak up behind him and get it before it attacks the shrimp. That's what I'm considering doing, opposed to buying a more expensive fish trap. But if it comes, to that, then I'll definitely be willing to invest in that. But yeah, that's the Melanurus Wrasse. If you have any questions about the Melanurus Wrasse, post it in the comment section below. Any video requests, any suggestions, anything to say about the tank, about the video, whatever. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye.